Okay, be system-driven. We want to treat Young Living as we would $1 million business. And if we're going to do that, we need to be system-driven. Remember, we talked about the 40-40-40 plan. 40 hours a week for 40 years, and we get 40% for our retirement. And this is the biggest problem everybody has. So pay attention to this lesson. This will be one key switch that will change tonight for you. We come in with this experience because this is where we all came from. And so, well, I shouldn't say that. But most of us are familiar with that. And what is different about network marketing is it doesn't matter what works, it's what duplicates. And that's why some people work a lot harder than other people, because they forget to use the tools that duplicate. So we want to make sure that we make that paradigm switch. And so this is what most people do when they come into Young Living. They have the thought process, oh, I'm just going to get some customers, and then, so they're thinking traditional sales, and they don't equip to duplicate. And so they enroll 2 people each month, and at the end of the year, they get 24 people in their organization. Good for them, right? I want to share with you a story that might help you make the switch in your mind of how important this is. There were 2 brothers that left home to make a fortune. Their names are John and Jeff. After a while, they came to a village where they were hired to provide water to the village. The payment was $5 per 10-liter bucket of water, and the nearest fountain was 2 miles from the village. Big brother John immediately took on the task and ran off with 2 empty buckets, and after an hour he was back with 2 full buckets of water, which he unloaded into the water storage container. He thought to himself, wow, I just made $10, and he ran off to do it again. By the end of the day, he had been running back and forth 10 times, and he earned $100. However, nobody had seen his brother all day. Weeks passed, and John had his hands full all day long. He ran up and down the same route with numbers of buckets of water, and he made $100 every day until he fell exhausted. After 90 days, his little brother Jeff suddenly turned up again. "Where have you been?" the diligent older brother yelled. "We were hired to provide water, and you have gone off for 90 days? I have worked hard every day, and I've earned $9,000. How much have you earned?" "I haven't earned any money yet," Jeff replied. "But for 90 days, I have built a pipeline from the fountain down to the village. It cost me all of my savings, but now I can just open the tap and earn as much money as I want," he said, and he continued, "Will you help me build pipelines to the other villages, or do you want to keep continuing carrying those buckets of water?" That's the power of duplication. You are going to be creating pipelines with duplication, and that's why you want to use your tools so that you create those pipelines. Be system-driven. Now let's take those same 2 people. Remember 2, 2, 2, and at the end of the year, somebody would have 24 people. Look what happens if you take 2 people and you equip them so well that they share with somebody else, 2 people. And you give them the 4 books, and you mentor them through the 20 lessons, and now you've equipped the next one. Look at how the geometric progression progresses. Isn't that amazing, the difference? This person is building a pipeline. This is what duplicates. Now the reality is I had a phone call today, and a person right here calls and says, "I don't know what to do." What happened? Somebody didn't do the duplication process, right? So your job as a mentor, you gotta make sure these guys are mentoring, and then make sure they know how to mentor the next. and then that person keeps passing it on. It's okay, this happens all the time, but now it's kind of cool because you go, oh, I know what happened. So you go back up and you make sure that your leaders have the duplication process in place. Isn't that cool? That's why we're system driven, because we can pinpoint right away where it went wrong. Isn't that cool? In order to be system driven, this comes from Randy Gage. These are the 7 systems that you should have in place. And this is in your folder, so you don't have to write them down. But you want to make sure as a business owner now that you have these 7 systems in place. You want to meet with the person that enrolled you and talk about these systems. What do I do for this? What do I do for that? And you have scripts and different things that we can give you that are in there that you can use for these as well. And you want to get those systems into your calendar. You want to put income actions into your calendar. Very quickly now, can I really make a living at this? This is the income earning disclosure. This came from Young Living Corporate. Can you see the incomes? It's in your virtual office if you can't. Go in your virtual office, under resources, you can get this sheet. It's very good to share with other people, the income disclosure. Average silver makes $2,335 per month. The average gold, $6,527. That's an average. They can be a little more or a little less. And then all the way up. Does this business have potential? Just like my colleague said, what if you just went up 1 rank every year? Is it worth 9 years to wait for that? Because look at the income. Pretty cool, huh? Print this off and start showing people. This comes from legal. This comes from a lawyer. They're not going to fudge those numbers.